If you're a guy watching this, where were you on Friday? While the G20 leaders were meeting, Johannesburg had a shutdown, and I was there. Well, I salute my brothers who stood with me and stood with the women. Looking at the overwhelming ratio of men and women, I realized something terrifying about South African men. It's not just like the vast majority of you stayed at home. It's also that I felt the Mandela Bridge shake beneath my feet. Hundreds of women marching together, and I realized that if they wanted to, they could bring this entire thing down. I'm Tato from BothoWellness, and what I saw at the GBV march, it changed entirely how I see this movement. But before I get into that, let me tell you about a woman who inspired me that day. And I'm honestly ashamed that I just didn't get her name. This isn't your typical I went to a protest video. This is about what nobody's talking about, so I need you to stay with me. Okay, here's a story. We started at the Constitutional Court, and there was this woman. She was slim built, she had brown hair, she was absolutely fearless. She stood in front of hundreds of us and laid down the plan. She was bold, she was brave, she was beautiful, not just physically, but in the way that she carried herself. And the crazy part, while she was organizing hundreds of people, we're waiting because there was someone who was eating on the inside. And yeah, that's wild to me, but it also shows you that reality. This movement was organized by people who were tired, who are hungry, but still managed to show up. And I wished I dared to tell her how proud I was of her leadership. So if you're watching this, thank you. But here's the thing where it got uncomfortable for me. We started from Fox Street, and just our group alone, we sat down for about 10 to 15 minutes, and we just stopped with all the traffic. The power there was just undeniable. But I kept looking around, and I kept asking myself, where's everyone? Where are the men? On our side of the city, the numbers kind of felt thin. And I need to talk about this because this bothered me the entire march. So in social psychology, we have this thing called social proof. Social proof is basically when the more people show up, the more legitimate something feels, and the more others feel encouraged to join. And we needed the energy, we needed those numbers. So I have to ask the question that kept running in my mind: do the men not care? Do they not understand, or do they not care about women? Now I'm about to say something, and I need you to hear me out. You cannot separate women and food, and I mean this respectfully, because we were marching from the Constitutional Hill to Bram, and you could see it. The people were tired, they were hungry, the march was slowing down, and then someone handed out bananas and water, and I kid you not, the energy shifted immediately. Everyone got their second wind. And it reminded me that those were real people with real needs, fighting for something they should not even be that shouldn't even be a fight, really. Like, it shouldn't be a fight. The right, they were fighting for the right to exist, to the right for safety. Well, then we got to the Mandela Bridge. The women just sat down again to rest, because I guess this isn't a sprint, it's like a marathon. And it's, as we were crossing, I felt it. The bridge shook, not by a lot, but enough to make you think, this many people had this collective power, they can really cause damage if they could. But that's not what this was about. This was about the women just wanting to come home safely, women who just want to get a job easily without getting assaulted. And before this march, there was I saw a sign that said, oh, why is it easier for a woman to be abused or raped in South Africa than to get a job? And that hit me hard. I have to give it up for the VIT students, because they organized the entire thing. They were brave, they were bold, they were absolutely unapologetic. Now, I go to a private college, and if any of us said anything remotely negative about our institution, we'd probably get kicked out. So seeing these VIT students exercise their freedom of speech, organize a march like this, big ups, guys. Respect on a serious note. And look, I can't talk about VIT students without mentioning they love it. They love the thing. They love the thing. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They love it. And they also love speaking their minds. But you know what? Their boldness, they encourage that refusal to be silenced. That's what made this march possible. Now, here's the part of the title I promised what I hated, and it's not what you think. I hated seeing those posts that said, kill all men are trash. And I'm literally a man who showed up to support this cause. And I wasn't the only one. There were other men too. Not many, but they were there. One of the march leaders, a man. When it comes to movements like this, I feel like we need both energies. We need masculine energy for protection and feminine energy for healing, because we're in this together, guys. But one thing I hated more was the thing before the march, the petition. Over 1 million signatures rejected by a woman. And that's one thing I realized. Sometimes the biggest enemy of a woman isn't a man. It's another woman who's been conditioned by the same broken system. Another thought is that I love the purple movement. I love the Women for Change movement. But I have a question that keeps me at night. Will this have a lasting impact? Because I saw something that concerned me. A lot of people just changed their profile pictures to purple, not because of gender-based violence, but because it was trending. To them, this isn't a movement, it's a moment, and they're waiting for the next trend. And to me, honestly, that's not good enough, because almost every woman in South Africa has a GBV story or an essay story. I know there's a lot of women who have these type of stories. So this isn't a trend, this is more of a crisis. So this so I have to ask, did this peaceful march make a difference? I'd say yes. There was a document signed at the Johannesburg police stations which made sure that our voices were heard. But here's the reality. Some men, I feel, don't care because they benefit from the current system. They want to continue. And that's why I'm making this video. Because if you're a man watching this and you did not show up, I need you to ask yourself why. I need you to be honest with that answer. And there's one thing I want from you. If you're a man who did not show up to this march or any march like this, please comment below and tell me why. No judgment, I just want to understand. Why didn't you show up? And if you support this movement, if you want to see more content like this, real conversations about mental health issues, wellness, and social issues, follow the BothoWellness pages on TikTok and YouTube. We have to talk about these conversations, comfortable or not, because this is a joke, guys. This is a joke. At this point, maybe women, children and women should just take defense classes. But that's treating the system, not the disease. So the real question is, when are we going to treat the disease? Hey guys, thanks guys. I'm Tato from BothoWellness. Thanks guys for watching. And to every women who marched that Friday, you're encouraged. Was more beautiful than you'll ever know, guys. Peace out, guys. Peace.